Ladies and gentlemen, once again, welcome back to Roger's Kakasungura. In my previous video, I said tomorrow is Monday. No, tomorrow is Sunday. Najua tulikuwa youth camp leo. So, nikafikiria leo ni Sunday. So, apologies and correction to that. Back to the Kenyan politics, ladies and gentlemen. What has brought me here now is an annoying story I have read from one of the leading Kenyan media houses. And this story has really touched me to the core. And if there are people who are supposed to get justice from the Kenya Kwanza government, these are the people. All of us can agree that the just concluded general election last year, there was a lot of tension in this country. Myself, I remember spending 2 days without eating. Yani, si kwamba nilikuwa na njaa. I lacked the appetite to eat. The pressure that was in me was beyond repair. Kila mtu alikuwa eager kungoja matokeo. I'm telling you, hata chakula ilikosa kuingia. So, we thought that Kenya italipuka, especially what we saw in Bomas, just a few minutes to the declaration of the results. I was in fear. You remember, I was one of the people who were propelling peace in this country. My heart was bleeding. My heart was shaking on what we saw in Bomas. And I thought that Kenya kutalipuka. But then, ladies and gentlemen, you and me can agree there is a group of people who brought peace and settlement in the hearts of people, in the hearts of Kenyans. You and me can agree on this. Iki kikosi made sure they spend 1 week in Bomas, making sure that Kenyans are calm and settled. This group of people was the Bomas choir. All of us, when we put politics aside, we hailed the choir for their marvelous performance. Choir ilituliza joto la Kenya, ilirudisha majoto chini. They were singing patriotic songs led by Thomas Wasonga. You know, this guy was coordinating that choir, and I felt like this is the kind of country that we need to settle in. But I'm surprised. The choir was contracted by IBC. And I'm a sad man because Chebukati is going home without paying the choir. Chebukati is bragging that he has done an exemplary job when other people are going without food after diligently working in Bomas. Chebukati, in his final message to Kenyans, he was bragging that he has done. How do you do good when you refuse to pay the people who helped you to bring peace in this country when Kenya was almost going into the dogs? I'm questioning you, Chebukati and William Ruto, from this platform. Why have you not paid the choir? That is the question. Chebukati, why are you going home when the children who belong to the choir members are opening school next week and they have no school fees? And you're here bragging that you've retired peacefully. My friend, I told you, you need to apologize to Kenyans. You need to. Wewe ni mtu ungechoma hii dunia, and I'm not afraid to tell you that. Pigia Ruto simu, mwambie State House ilipe wanakwaya. We are not going to sit and watch you mukinyanyasa wanakwaya. We are not going to do that. Please, with all due respect, Ruto is a bishop. Pay the choir their dues. Period. Hawa watu walifanya kazi nzuri. Hawa watu walituliza Kenya. Hawa watu waliimba nyimbo za kuliwaza wa Kenya. We settled. Hata William Ruto katika speech yake alisema hii choir ndio imefanya Wakenya wametulia. Why are you not paying the choir, gentlemen? Why? Mbona ulipi choir? Na mnasema nyinyi ni watu wa kanisa. Mbona mlipi choir? Why are you not paying the choir led by Thomas Wasonga? Why? Mbona mlipi choir? You know, I read this story and I felt like, you know, Victor Nyango, the lead singer in that choir, spoke very bitterly. Yaani yale maneno yake amezungumza mpaka nimelia machozi. This is what he's saying. Wasonga promised the choir members to pay, and their pay would come in 6 weeks after the announcement of the presidential results. Little did we know 6 weeks could translate to almost 6 months. The choir was one of the service providers at the Bomas of Kenya. We were brought in to provide services just like the rest who were contracted to make the process smooth. So we were supposed to be paid like the rest. Our able leader Mwalimu Wasonga said the money could come in 6 weeks. It's now 6 months and we are yet to see the money. We really don't want to blame Mwalimu for this delay, but someone should act. Which someone is this? William Samoei Ruto Kipchirichiri, aka Evangelist, aka Bishop. Why? Chebukati has already retired. Our leader Mwalimu Wasonga said the money, okay, we have families who saw us every day on TV working, yet we went home with nothing. Onyango father says 80% of the choir members entirely depend on singing. They have no any other job. They have no any other income. Yet you claim that you are people who value hustlers. Shame on you. Kenya Kwanza, shame on you. Shame. Munatembelea magari makubwa, munaimba nyimbo za Kikristo kila Jumapili, lakini wanakwaya wanalala njaa baada ya kuwafanyia kazi Bomas of Kenya. Shame on you. Tamu naibu. Wasonga says, the delaying payment has therefore diversely affected our way of life and our families. I can assure you that most people in that choir you saw there don't do anything apart from singing. It is their livelihood. Withholding their pay means they are greatly affected. They have families. Children are resuming school. Onyango said, ladies and gentlemen, it's sad. I was reading this story and I really felt sad about this. But, you know, let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. You know, the tension was so high in Kenya. Unakumbuka wakati Ruto alifika, you know, people were asking Raila ako wapi, Raila ako wapi, Raila ako wapi. All of a sudden wakaona Ruto ametokelezea, amekaa kwa kiti. And now the announcement was made. We want to declare the results. There was tension. Vita ikazuka Bomas. But the choir stood firm. I remember when the announcements were put off and the only people who could be heard is the choir. Lakini sasa mko hapa, mnasema nyinyi ni Wakristo na hamtaki kulipa choir. Christopher Cheng, one of the choir members, said this. It was a great experience to get to sing to Kenyans during a very crucial moment of our country's history. Those who planned it understand well what our country needs. It's taking long and it's frustrating. I depend on singing for a living. My family saw me on TV singing, but I went home empty-handed. And they were asking questions. Ocheng says, their pay has taken time and long than anticipated. And this is what Mwalimu Wesonga had to reply. Those complaining should understand that the regime change comes with a lot of changes. Things no longer work the same way. The new government is organizing itself, and when it's ready, the money will be available. Hopefully, that is what Wasonga told the choir members, ladies and gentlemen. But to me, let the choir remain calm, as I will be following up with the matter when I return to Nairobi from upcountry next week. But let me say this, ladies and gentlemen, as I close my remarks. I'm told the relevant media house that did the story tried to reach out the IEBC, but then they were turned away again to Bomas of Kenya, as if Bomas was the one paying the people. But then, the Bomas of Kenya CEO Peter Gitta informed the journalists that they have been unable to pay the vendors because they themselves have not been paid by the IEBC, who they were acting on behalf of. I have my final remarks to make. And on this, I have no apologies to make. I want to address the president himself on this matter. Your Excellency, sir, because you announced the president, I would categorically say the choir served you with a lot of dedication. When you were being announced the winner, it's actually the choir that calmed down the audience and Kenyans at large. You remember how the fight broke in Bomas? And the only people who were left to act on restoring sanity and hope at Bomas is the choir. When you were switched off, when Chebukati was switched off, the only people we could see on screens and hear is the choir. Please, with all due respect, act as early as this night and clear the choir their dues. Or else, we are going to join hands to force you to pay them. God bless you. Asante sana.